Hey Jennifer, this is Donnie. Excuse my little thing down here. This is how I record these, and so I wanted to maximize the use of my window for this particular tutorial. Okay, so what I'm going to show you in this tutorial is how to make changes to the bottom sections down here. This is what they refer to as bottom left, bottom middle, and bottom right. So again, bottom left, bottom middle, bottom right. So I'm going to show you these are what we call widgets. In a website term, that's just a place to put something. And it's just a simple way of saying it. So let me show you how we've done that. Part of the design that we agreed to is have these little tabs here. If you ever wanted to change this, we're going to have to get involved, or you're going to have to find somebody else to make the changes to these images here. You can't change that. But what you can change is all the text here. Now, in another tutorial, what I'm highlighting is the text you can change here. I've done another tutorial specifically on how you update the Cupcake of the Month. So you want to make sure you look at that one. But let's say you want to change either the information here about Facebook, or you want to change especially the promotions one. So here's how you do that. You want to go to your dashboard. And this is one time that you want to go down to the Appearance tab and click Widgets. Again, that's just what they call it. But it is what it is. So here's the home bottom left, home bottom middle, home bottom right. That is home bottom left, home bottom middle, home bottom right. Very simple to follow. This is where it gets a little tricky. When you deal with widgets, the only way to deal with widgets primarily is to deal in some HTML code. What I'm going to show you is how to make changes to the text without having to touch any of the HTML code. Now, it may look a little bit garbled and junky and stuff like that, but I'll show you how it's easy to change what you want to change. So let's say you want to change your promotion stuff. So let me show you some things you want to do on this. And this may be a tutorial you want to go watch every time you do it to make sure you do it the right way. All right, so what we've done is hit that double arrow or that single arrow, and that opens up a new box. This is a text box. What that simply means is when you're putting in code, a text box is just a box that you can put whatever you want to in there. I can put other things in there, but in this case I wanted to put some text with some other stuff. So this is that. Don't get hung up on the text thing. Just realize this is what we use. All right. Now this is where you get in the HTML code. Anytime you have these little brackets and stuff like that. So this could get a little daunting if you looked at it, but let me show you real quickly how to change what you want on here and what you don't want. All that information there that I just highlighted in blue makes up everything starting with this brown promotions all the way down to the exclamation point. All of that is located right in here. So how do we go about doing that? Well, let me show you. This little section here, which you won't really need to mess with, is the image source for the brown thing here. So and all it is we loaded the image, this brown picture here. If you were to view image here, see how that brown picture, that's all it is just a picture. If you were to take a new image and put here, you would have to load it up in your media library, get the URL, which is really all of this right here, and change it to reflect that, and you've got yourself a new image. Now, from what you're probably going to do is you're never going to really do that. You're going to always have promotions and Cupcake of the Month. Facebook, again, if you want to have changes to that, let us know and we can get involved. But let's say this is primarily what you want to do is the text. So right below that, you have this. Now we wanted it to be centered. So this P-align center, that's just the code that makes this stuff centered so it looks nice and neater. If it's everything to the left, then it doesn't look very good, I think. It needs to be centered. Now notice that it says join our Facebook fan page. That right there. You may say, I want to change that to be whatever the promotion might be. Get 4 cupcakes for $10 or whatever your promotion is. If you want it in bold, then all you have to do is put it inside this little section here. See where it says bracket, strong, and then close bracket. Then right here, after this, it says strong, but it has this little slash in front of it. What that basically means in HTML code is before you write, right before this, it turns the regular type into a bold or strong, and then after it's finished, you want it to end being bold, and that's what that does. This P, don't worry about that. Just know that that little section here from right there to there is what makes up that section right there. Okay? So that blue matches that blue. So if you keep that in mind, if you decided you didn't want that in bold, all you have to do is take out the words, the brackets with the word strong in it. If you went down here to save, anytime you make a change to anything in these texts, you make a change, you hit save. If I go back to here, update my page, notice that it's no longer bolded. Now, for what we want to do, I'll show you it real quickly. I'm going to put that back and put my slash and put my strong and close it out. Now I will hit save here in just a second. This is like a little page break or a spacing because we wanted the space in here. If you don't want the spacing, you take it out. See how this 1 month, one lucky fan will win a dozen cupcakes? That fits nice and neat in there. And then the stuff in here is also nestled all in between right after these little page breaks. Now, if you'll notice that we don't put a tremendous amount of information here. The reason is we want it to be balanced. If you wrote a bunch of stuff, for instance, let's say you wrote this right here, okay? Let's say we did all that, and we hit save. Now what's going to happen is we go to update our browser. It's going to continue, but let's say that's probably not a good example. Let me put a page break here. And you said, I want another page break. I'm going to write all this stuff, and then I'm going to put some spacing. I'm just going to write, because there's so much good promotion stuff out there, and you start getting kind of out of hand here. What you're going to end up with is when you save it there, it's just putting too much information in here, and it's kind of unbalancing itself. Notice that this side is now longer than the sides over here. So I want to try to keep this as brief as you can. I didn't use a good example there, but you get the idea. I don't want you to kind of overdo this section here. You want to keep the text about the same as where it was. It's have about just as much space there as you do here, and so forth. And that's pretty much how you make that change there. If you ever wanted to change what you say on Facebook here, you go down to the home bottom right, open up the text box, and there's the information here. Again, just stay, if you want to avoid any of the things here, don't eliminate, because if you took off this little thing here and saved it, I'll show you what happens. And this will be the first time you'll call us and say, why is that right there? That's not supposed to be there. And I would quickly come in here and see that all you do is accidentally deleted the bracket. And when I save it and I put it back, everything's back the way it was supposed to be. So don't hesitate and contact us if something doesn't look right, but just stay within the information that you see and change that. Again, here you see another image there on Facebook. Now, one thing we did here, just so you can see, is that this kind of gets a little complicated, but this right here is the URL that we wanted this image to hyperlink to. So let's find this on Facebook. Now, we chose not to use the real long facebook.com/whatever. So I went to one of these websites that shortens the URL down and created our own. It always automatically takes you to the Cupcake by Design. I can't remember if you have the shortened facebook.com/Cupcake by Design. If you did, we could always put it in there too. But nonetheless, this tidy URL gets you to the Facebook fan page for Cupcake by Design, which is what we wanted it to do. So anyway, if the home middle section, this is how you make a change to the Cupcake of the Month, and there's a separate tutorial on that. I would encourage you to watch that one so you'll know how to make changes. Okay, let me know if you have any questions about this. I know this is a little bit more tricky than some of the other stuff, but I think you'll be fine if you follow those instructions. Thanks.